events. And then we're gonna have a quick market conversation. Then we're gonna go about our Friday and fly into the weekend. So, T, take it away. Appreciate everybody being here.
Hey. All right. So I'm going to start with the boring announcements and go really, really fast so that we can get this over with and you guys can get to the good stuff. COVID update. I know you guys love those. We have just made the decision that since we all would have to wear a mask anyway, we're just going to go ahead and keep it virtual through August. Because even if we said, hey, third week of August, come into the office and do a training, you'd have to wear a mask and no one wants to do that. So we're going to keep everything virtual just for the time being all the way up through August. The office is still open if you want to use it. However, with that being said, we are requiring masks in public areas when you're walking through the hallways. If you're sharing an office with people, just make sure you're wearing your mask. Also, right now, testing is really high and we want you to be testing if you feel necessary to do so. So if you're not feeling well, or if you're going somewhere, or if you've been around someone, please get yourself tested. However, if you've got yourself tested, don't come into the office until you get a negative result. And so we want to stress that. And then if you have tested positive and been in the office, please just let me know. You don't have to blast it out to the whole office. It's not a shaming event. It's going around. But I want to be able to, if there were people you did come in contact with in the office, be able to tell them kindly. So that they can just do with that information what they need to do with that information. So all that's our COVID update. Vince, was there anything I missed on that?
No, and again, we're continuing to follow the guidelines and from the CDC and some things that we're reading. And look, safety is number one, and respect, right? Respect and kindness, right? Respect people's the social distancing, respect their views on COVID. There's a vast difference between the kind of the sensitivity of people around COVID. Some will come up and give you a hug. Some will say, stay in the other room and I'm not leaving my house, right? So let's just respect that for everybody. And when we're here in a public place, let's just keep it safe, keep safe distance, keep your mask on in the public space. And that way we can all have a place to come, right? Because we want to keep on pushing forward productivity. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and with that too, and that's really just for you guys to know that's going to be our market center for staffing wise too. We are all being careful as a staff that's in here. Me, Vince, Kristen are in here a lot, and then Joseph comes in a couple of days a week. And so if one of us happens to get it, we will be letting the whole market center know and making sure we follow protocols and getting us all quarantined and stuff for the time being. So just know that that's important on how we're handling ourselves and what we're doing. And we just ask you partner with us and doing that as well. So moving on to events. Some big events are coming up over the next 6 weeks. Bold is the first one. Bold starts on August 5th and so 4th. Whatever Tuesday is in that week, it starts 4th. It is $99. Registration is live. You can go to mapscoaching.com and it will literally make you click register here before you do anything else on the MAPS coaching website. So it's really easy to get to. It's $99. One thing too is we do reimbursements for this Bold. And so anything you put under contract during this month or during August when you're in Bold, and I believe the 30 days after, we are reimbursing as a Bold transaction the first two. So first one's 50, the second one's 50. And so it's important though that you communicate what those are to me. You can do that by your commission requests. You can do that via email. I would appreciate it if it was done before 3 weeks after closing. That would be preferred communication with me. So however way it's easier for you, definitely the commission request allows you to put in the notes section. And if you put Bold reimbursement in there, I'll get it tagged on my end to get you reimbursed. Second thing, on August 19th, we have Quantum Leap coming to Charleston via Zoom. It's going to be our final 9 to 3 course. We know Zooms are hard when they're all day courses. However, Quantum Leap is a really good mindset course. And Vince, I'm going to have you talk a little bit more about what Quantum Leap is because you've been through it, or Maggie, you too. And it's a great mindset course. And what we didn't want to do is divide it up and lose the momentum of the value that that course brings. And so we're bringing in an instructor from Florida, Mike, and he is going to be bringing us that topic. I'm excited. It's the one class I've wanted on my list for the 4 years I've been here. So that's coming on August 19th. Vince, can you, or Maggie, can you guys give us like a why we should go to this class?
I'll tell you right now, this that sits in my mission, and this was written the beginning of 2016 and sat on my desk since, and it was created in that class. And a lot of us go through life, and there's no judgment here, go through life on autopilot. This class is all about what it looks like to live purposefully and create a life by design. I know we talk about it a lot. And this is probably one of the most impactful courses I've ever taken at Keller Williams, and I've taken a lot of them. And it spoke straight to my heart. It's an amazing, amazing course. I know it's on Zoom. I get it. And I get the fatigue of Zoom. Yet I'm going to tell you right now, but I can empathize with that more than anybody, I feel like. So I get that. Yet what I will tell you about this course is it will be well worth the couple hours on Zoom, from the way it will change your life. And I believe in it that much. I would request it. I would put it to anybody. Go ahead, Maggie. What do you have to say about it?
And as a KU instructor, I teach this class, and this is one of the few classes that is heavy lecture, so it can be carried on Zoom all day. There's not a ton of individual exercises. It's something that is really about, Gary Keller wrote this class in order to teach you how to live a big life, and the big life is defined by you. So I wouldn't miss it. I've taken it at least 6 or 7 times. It is one of the best classes that we have in our company. It has to do with your life, not your real estate business. So if you get your life straight, your real estate business gets straight.
Funny how it all works together.
Yep.
Right.
And I would ask too, I'm going to say this now so they don't have to say it. We'll say it again. When you're attending, Zoom is really, really hard. So please put your face on and put your clothes on and turn your cameras on, because the feedback we're getting from a lot of instructors is it's really, really hard to carry a conversation and carry a class with a bunch of names on the screen. And
you can't do it. You cannot, it's impossible to talk a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, it is heavy lecture, but we want to see your face, even if, you're not writing and looking down. We want to be able to see your face so we can engage, because it is really, really hard to do that. So since we're bringing a guest teacher in, we want to do this for everyone, right? But we also are bringing in a guest teacher, so we want to make sure we're bringing the energy and engagement. The cost, it's free. So it's a free class we get through CES, Carolina Education Services. Moving forward after August, we're actually going to be expanding that class from 1 all-day class every other month to 4 2 to 4 hour classes 4 times a month. And so you're going to see that high level class expand due to the resources that we've been able to do through that education fund that you guys are contributing to. So be on the lookout for a registration link from Kristen about that CES class and where to sign up, just so that we can make sure you get all the materials and everything ahead of time. Third, yes.
No, who's instructing? Do we know?
His name is Mike. Starts with a B.
Horowitz.
I think it's Horowitz. Yeah.
Horowitz. Yep. Okay.
Mike B. Horowitz. That makes more sense. Okay. Yeah. So that's him. And Maggie, you say thumbs up.
Yeah, Mike Horowitz is great. Initially, I thought it was Michael Burke, but Michael Burke doesn't teach Quantum Leap, so it is Mike Horowitz, and he is a phenomenal instructor.
Awesome.
Maps coach. He's really good. Yeah.
Bring your friends. Tell people to come. Invite people that are not with KW. It's free to anybody. We have 100 seats, I believe, if not more, from CES. So
this is a great not recruiting class. This is a great class to invite others to, because it has nothing to do with Keller Williams. Yep. It's not about our models and systems. It's about who are the people in your 5 circles and how are you going to live your best life.
Love it.
Maybe 10% of the courses actually references real estate. It's probably less than that, which is the coolest thing.
Sweet. I love it, Jay. Just cleared his calendar for that day. That's what I like to see. So that's awesome. Okay. Third thing, Mega Camp. They just announced the registrations are available. Mega Camp is the 15th through the 17th of September. It's 3 days. It's all virtual. This is honestly if you haven't had the ability to attend Mega Camp physically in person, like this is the next best thing, because they're still going to be bringing all the content. They're going to be bringing breakout sessions. And honestly, I would be surprised if they don't bring more breakout sessions due to not having to fit rooms. It's $109 right now. It's early pricing, so I highly recommend getting your ticket today. And Vince is going to stress this again later, but fun fact, if you go to Bold in August and get reimbursed your $100, now you've just paid for Mega Camp by going to Bold. How exciting is that? Like, anybody? No one's even really smiling. That's ridiculous. Okay, so buy both. Go to register for Bold, register for Mega Camp, get reimbursed for Bold. Now Mega Camp credit card bill has been paid off. Cool? Does that make sense? Make sense? Okay, so Mega Camp, September 15th through 17th, there's going to be big rooms where you're going to be getting all the content from Gary Keller himself, Josh Team, the whole tech works. Plus, there's going to be plenty of breakout sessions for all sorts of people in your business. And then, so yeah, get those tickets early, because I do not know when the early pricing ends. And so do that. Yes, Kyle?
Tiffany, have you heard on the hours they're going to be doing it each day? I mean, are they going to be lengthy like on site that they did? You know what I mean? Just to be able to gauge time frame?
I'm not sure. That would be, I would guess they're not going to start super early, like 8 o'clock our time, because they are keeping in junction with California.
Right.
You know, so with the 3 hours of time zones that we're having to deal with, and even more with international, I'm curious if they'll be doing stuff throughout the day. I do not know if there's a start or end time, but I'll get that information out to you guys as soon as I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then finally, the shift workshop, we talked about this at the team meeting last week. It's with James Shaw. There's still time for you to register. It's for July 27th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that is a class where if you pay the $49 and attend, we will reimburse it for you and give you your $49 back. So what another great class. Vince, if they go to Bold and do the shift workshop, they're just getting all their money back and then going to
Isn't that unbelievable?
Holy smokums.
Holy smokums. I'll tell you what.
Tell you what, that works out pretty nicely. So yeah, register for that if you need any help on that. Once Vince and Maggie take over, I'll put the shift workshop link in the chat because I have to go find it.
And the Mega Camp link.
Yeah, and the Mega Camp link. So make sure you register for all of those things early. So that's really, really exciting. I think that's all I got.
And the last thing I'll say to the Mega Camp thing is, and again, the fatigue with Zoom, get it. Here's the thing. When we change our perspective around things, we kind of take off, right? We have an opportunity to spend $109 as compared to $800 plus a plane ticket, plus a whole week away from our business, plus a hotel, and then all the fun that we have to have, right? And for $109 and get the same experience of listening and hearing from these unbelievable agents and leadership and people in our AW infrastructure from the comfort of our own home office or wherever, right? Heck, from your bed, it doesn't even matter. So it's such a cool opportunity when you look at it that way. This is something that a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to do, which is go to Mega Camp, and now you have the opportunity to do it for $109 and deal with the fact that you're on Zoom and lose a little bit of that, but you still get the amazing content because Mega Camp is unbelievable, and they're guarantee they'll be rolling some things out. Well, I shouldn't say guarantee. That was a horrible idea. They will probably be rolling some things out from a tech standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, resource standpoint that you can dial into. So it's just a great opportunity.
Confirm 100%.
I can confirm that that's a guarantee.
Good. Never know anymore. Just never know. So sign up for that, $109, and generate that $109 and cash flow by going to Bold, getting reimbursed, and bada bing, bada boom, holy schmookums. So without further ado, I have the amazing Maggie. I asked Maggie to get on here, and gosh, this telephone doesn't stop right. To get on here and just have a conversation like we typically do about the market. I mean, this is a crazy market. Listings inventory is low, right? Inventory is low. Buyer demand seems to be unbelievable. And there are a lot of things, a lot of variables at play. So we figured we'd just take 15 minutes and have a conversation. And then any questions that people have or anything that you are seeing, feel free to at one point kind of interject. But Maggie, me and you, what do you think? What are you thinking of this market? I mean, I printed out and I left it on the printer, but from an under contract standpoint, I mean, what was it? I had the number in front of me just last week.
I have all my numbers up. I was registering.
Run through them.
Camp while you were talking. So
perfect. You run through them.
So I'll go over Doug Holmes' numbers in a minute, but there are under 4,000 active listings in the MLS. I want you to just put that in perspective for a second. When we opened that market center in 2012, there were 13,000 active listings in the MLS. Under 4,000. That's 800 less than we had in March of this year when the shutdown began. So
that's how many less than when the shutdown began?
800.
800 less listings on the market since March.
And
Correct.
keep in mind, a good bit of those are also new construction.
So we have, right this second, a little bit of an issue with supply and demand. And here's what I mean by that. As of yesterday, there were 3,949 active listings, and there were 4,242 contingent listings. That's backwards.
Have you ever seen that in your career?
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw it?
The last time I saw it was right before the market went haywire with all the financial.
In 6 and 7?
Yeah. So here's the thing that you need to understand about real estate markets. They're always cyclical. There's always going to be a shift because when the average person in the average town can't afford to buy the average house, the market has to correct itself because it's an affordability issue. In March, we had 4,700 active listings and 3,300 under contract. In October, we had 5,400 active listings and 2,700 under contract. There is never, ever, ever, and I said this to my team yesterday, been a more important time in my entire career, 36 years, about shoring up your listing inventory. Every day, all day long, we should be hunting for listings because our market share, what if, notice, let's talk a minute about that backwards number. So the buyers outweigh the listings, right? So what if we had no listings? We're not getting our unfair share of those 4,200 under contract because we are not able to service them because we have a bunch of buyers that we can't find a house for. Yeah, you follow me?
Oh yeah.
I have to be honest with you, and I've said this to my team and I've said this to Art. This pandemic doesn't scare me. These numbers scare me. This is a serious issue, and we have to roll up our sleeves and do whatever it takes every single day to move the ball forward, because otherwise, I mean, our median list price is out. My average close price has gone up $67,000 in 6 months. That is not sustainable. So, you know, I'm not a doom and gloom person, but what comes next is the market gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And first of all, we have to make sure we have our reserves up. We've got our expenses low. I mean, on our businesses, on our team, you know, the business of you. I'm not talking about the market center. They do a phenomenal job running that. I'm talking about the business of you. You know, if your goal is 10 pendings a month, don't stop until you get 10 listings. That's the only way you can guarantee the 10 pendings. Do you follow me?
Oh, 100%. And even I just looked real quick at the Market Center's average sales price and what it's up. It's up 20% year over year.
It's crazy. My
That's-
business is flat. In other words, GCI, we're 98% of goal. Volume, we're like 105% because the price is so high. But the units are what matter. And we're down 12% on our units. And the units are what matter. But, you know, we've got this year, 60% of our business has been listings. First time that's ever happened either. I'm always trying to struggle with that 50-50 match. But everybody on this team knows that their number one goal every single day is to find as many listings as possible. I don't care if it's a $40,000 trailer in Walterboro or wherever. That is how we're going to gain market share. And that's how we'll keep market share when the market rebounds. Because it will get like tight, then we'll transition, and then it'll be a little uncomfortable for a minute. You won't even notice it. And then it'll be a totally different market.
What are creative ways that you're hearing about? Because you're pretty dialed in and you've been in the industry, you're experienced, you've gone through things like this. What are ways that you've seen from a successful standpoint to take listings and go and increase your personal inventory?
Well, obviously, circle prospecting, pick up the phone and call. I was invited to, our team is blessed to be in the top 100 in the region, and I was invited to this mega agent panel the other day for groups and teams. I don't know if anybody watched it on Facebook Live. If you didn't, and if it's still on there, you need to go back and watch it. It was literally the best 3 hours I've spent with time I didn't have to spend in a long time. And what I heard over and over again is, you know, all this stuff is going to come out of the woodwork. Oh, let's do this and get rich quick. Or, oh, let's do this and get rich quick. Or, oh, let's do this. What we need to do is stay in our lane. Our business is a business of real estate. What that means is that every day our job is to get in front of somebody who wants to buy or sell a piece of real estate. We need to get more focused on our local businesses. How can we keep them afloat? What can we do, you know, to help them? Is there an opportunity for us to do a partnership with someone who may be struggling right now to drive traffic to them? And the long tail will be what? We'll be building our business up. So this is every day, my entire life, I've gotten up and listed and sold real estate every day since I was 21 years old. It hasn't changed. The goal is always to find out, get in front of somebody who wants to buy or sell real estate. So I'm looking for a social media director. I heard that loud and clear from Sarah Reynolds, who I think is one of the best marketers in the country. And she had to pivot, right? I mean, her business 100% was touch me, feel me, feel me, feel me. They can't do that right now. So she
was event heavy, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's like, I can't do that right now. So we've got to pivot. What are we going to do? She's had some great training on virtual listing and seller consultations. Bo McKitty talked about how to invest in not the get rich scheme, like not, oh, let me get this house and flip it. Get the house and rent it out. Keep it. Our business is the only business in the world that your income potential is limited only by what you choose to get up and do every single day. And now is the time for us to, like, no kidding. I opened this email I don't sometimes read these all the time. I opened this email yesterday to get ready for this meeting, and I like gasped when I saw the tipping point, right? And I don't know if it's a tipping point or not. Let's see what happens next week. You know, last week was 4th of July and all of that stuff. So who knows if that's just inflated because no one was listing their house last week. Every day you need to look at these numbers. That's
Let me
the
ask you
only way
this.
you can forecast your business.
You're 100% right on. The language of business is numbers, right? Numbers are the language of business. And somebody said to me one time, like, the activities don't, or rather like the things that you have to do, it was around success. The things that you have to do don't necessarily change, but what changes are the way that you do it and the conversations that you're having, right? And so how have the conversations for you, even just since March, how have the conversations for you changed, especially as there's this dramatic change in supply and demand, that's what this is, a dramatic change in supply and demand through these last couple of months. How have your conversations changed, both with your team and with your clients?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I lead with the highest D in that building. So sometimes I could put a little bit more velvet on my hammer, but I guess how I would answer that question is that, we began in March reaching out to everybody with care calls, right? Super important. It's super important. Come from your heart. How can we help you? And that always come from a place of contribution. Now I think the conversation is the same but different. There are people and families in Charleston who are barely making ends meet, but their house, they've got so much equity in their house, it would change their financial future to put it on the market and sell it in an hour. Think about that for a second. Prices have never in recorded history are as high as they are right now in Charleston. A shack at Folly Beach is getting close to $550 a square foot in 2 hours. It needs to be gutted and redone. These numbers are breathtaking. It's not going to last forever. So my conversation is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, honestly, the same conversation I have had on every listing appointment I've ever had. I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't. What I know is what the market tells me right now. If we list your house today for $350,000 and we, Joseph's not on here, so we can't do coming soon anymore. But if we say delay 24 hours, because I get caught and turned in every time it's 25 hours, but 24 hours and give us time to get it out to our 15,000 people that we have in our database, your house will be sold for full price by tomorrow night. And you can pull in, we have one right now. She's pulling $97,000 of equity out of her house. And she was on the cusp of doing a forbearance. That changes their life. You can rent a house for a couple of years with $97,000 and get your whatever back, and the market's going to go back, and it's going to become a buyer's market. So we all should be stockpiling our money to buy up all these houses when the prices change, not to take advantage, but to provide homes for people like that. Because the rental market here, frankly, sucks. I mean, the prices are crazy. But if we get in our head, we do our self-talk and we say, oh, I don't want to bother them, they lost their job, or they're having to work from home, or they're homeschooling their kids, or it's a pandemic, or that is our own limiting belief. You could literally be changing their life by helping them get out of the house that they probably can't afford right now and get some money, because cash is the only way to leverage yourself if you don't have any reserves. If they're not working and they can't afford to pay for their house, but they have all this money tied up in it, I think we need to change the way that we talk about it. We just have to start coming from contribution in a different language. And that language to me means, how can we help you? You bought your house in 16, 17, you've got $70,000 in equity. What would that do for your family? Could it pay for your college education? Could it pay for Clemson? Could it pay? People are being downsized. People are losing their jobs. Businesses in Charleston will never open again that have been here my entire life. It's our job to help them.
Yeah, because this isn't necessary. I think some people, I was talking to somebody the other day and we were talking about the 4 quadrants, right? Like positive present, negative future, and positive future. You can do that with COVID too, right? Things are rocking and rolling at the beginning of the year. This is going to be the best year ever. Holy smokes. COVID just hit. There's no end in sight. I don't know what to do. And then negative future is, this is really bad. The market's going to be horrendous. And now we're kind of in this idea of everything's going to be okay. Positive future. Yet sometimes you have to really kind of take those rose-colored glasses off and say, like, how can I continue to bring value to the people that I need to bring value to? Have those conversations that you're talking about, because every one of them started with why. Like, why do you want? What's the motivation for you? What do you need? How can I help? Right? And then
Yeah.
understanding what the market is doing and understanding that the landscape's going to be different here. Like, there are still 20 some million that are on unemployment, and the unemployment benefit, I think I think that runs out tomorrow. Right. So there are actually, it's the 16th, the following week. Right. So there's a lot of impact. There's a lot of variables to this conversation. Another thing I wanted to ask Maggie was, Doug sent a fascinating chart. I don't know if you looked at it, but it was talking about the median list price back in October.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. So in October, it was 370,000 was the median list price. The median pending or contingent price was 285,000. That was a difference of, I think it's like 77% or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like $40 a square foot versus now it's like $60 a square foot.
Which is crazy, because now when you look at it, it's still active is 20% higher than what contingents are and what pendings are. That's fascinating to me. 20% overpriced, right? So how do you have that conversation too with agents? Well, with clients specifically, but like, that's an overpricing problem. So not only do we have a problem with listing inventory, we also have a problem with the fact that I don't know that buyers are willing to, well, they are willing, but there's an overpricing problem, right? Are they going to buy some of those listings?
Well, I think that I choose to look at that differently. And the way I look at that is that your house is worth in your neighborhood, the last house that sold is the floor, right? We were taught that the highest price in a neighborhood was the ceiling. But in a market like this, the highest price in the neighborhood right now is the floor. Everything else is going to be above that. So are the prices artificially inflated? Yes, but it's being driven by the demand. And until the supply outweighs the demand, it's going to continue to rise. Eventually, what's going to happen is affordability is going to be an issue. And John Smith, average guy, average town, can't buy average house in West Ashley. It's going to put a halt to everything, and it's going to shift back. And I don't know. I've never lived through a pandemic before, so I don't know how that is going to affect the long-term market. My only example I have about something that feels as chaotic as this was, the financial downfall, when we were selling fake money to Germany or whatever, when all of that came through the market, that was scary, because that artificially inflated the prices too. You LIBOR alone, you say, oh, I make $2 million. Here, take $3 million with no verification. That'll never happen again. And I'm not saying that is even remotely as serious as the death and destruction that's happening now. It's very serious. But I'm saying the way it affects our business is the same.
And they're different reasons, right? Like one was created by real estate and money and credit, right? Inflation, all that stuff. Now this is different, but it's still created just like most economic downturns, honestly, which is
creating the market. It's creating a false market.
Yeah, it's an event, and
that's not sustainable. That's what I said. Why I began my conversation by saying everybody, all day, every day, unless they have an appointment, should be looking for listings.
Go find market share. Cool.
You've got to buy the market share, because if you have a pie, and say the pie is 10,000 units, and you have 50% of the pie, right? Then you have 50% of the market share. So say the pie shrinks to 5,000 units, and you have 5,000, 50% of the market share, only have 2,500 units. That's where we are right now. But what if we started here and got 50% of the market share right now? When it comes back, we still have 50% of the market share. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like shift tactic 101. The market share you gain in a shifting market, and shift doesn't always mean bad. Shift can mean tight, like it is right now. It's tight. Everybody that has a real estate license is getting a listing. Why aren't we getting all of them? We are very much more talented than they are. I mean, we've got transactions going with people that I've never heard of before. Like, did you go to real estate school? I look it up to see, because, right, we're not getting our unfair share. We are the professionals. Let's go get our unfair share.
I love it.
I knew you'd be sorry for asking me to do this. I get on my soapbox. I can't help it.
No, I was looking for a soapbox. It's so nice to not have to talk as much over here. Trust me. And I know that everybody's sick of hearing my voice. So, see, Kyle. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? Thank you so much, Maggie.
Yes, Maggie, thank you. We like your soapbox.
Thank you. Could I go over a few of my biggest ahas from that call, or no?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I'm happy to share my notes with Tiffany, and then she can do whatever, but I take notes the way I speak. So it's like Maggie speak. Might not make sense to all of you, but I take notes like in Maggie D. It's not long and flowery. My number one thing from Bowman Kitty was what I shared, and that is you create your safe harbor by having your strength in the market and making sure that you're looking at other opportunities within our local market. Like, who can we go help? That's the long tail. That's how you create safe harbor for them and strength for your business long term. And what are the opportunities to double down and build our business? And we're better marketers than most people, right? That own, somebody that opens like a donut shop or whatever. We market for a living. They might need help now. We could maybe help them do a trade-off, get some free donuts. Don't eat them, but that's how we grab market share and sustain it when the market comes back. My biggest aha from Stephen Cooley, who I have so much respect for, was ambitious contentment. So he explained that he gets up every single day and he's ambitious, right? He's surrounded by people that want to build a business, want to make money, they want to change their family's life, but they're content with understanding that they have a job to do, and you don't have a pass on showing up for work. The other thing was, he had a great analogy about owning a team, which is kind of irrelevant for this conversation, but some people who used to work at a restaurant want to become the chef, right? And they need to learn how to become the chef, right? Just because you start serving tables doesn't mean you can be a chef. Well, just because you got a real estate license doesn't mean you should be starting a team. You need to earn like your stripes, be on a team, lead generate, do all the things. He says we have to be the captain of our warship, and we're in business every single day, whether our warship has one person on it or 200 people on it. Limit your exposure to bad news, which I don't watch the news, so. And finally, Andy Peters, live your skill set, which really spoke to me. Live in your lane. This is one of Joseph's best friends. I don't know him very well, and I missed it when he was in our office, but live in your lane. Like, every single one of them are like, you're in the real estate business. Real estate is a lead generation business. Go lead generate, get listings. And then I already shared with you. Oh, and the other thing that he said is we all get very focused on our goal was, say, 10 million or whatever. And their goal was 400 units, I think he said. He said, so we get very wrapped around the number of the units or the volume, and looking too far in the future. Focus on the now. And what is our goal this month? We need to have nine, he calls them bindings, 9 pendings a week. So everyone on the team just focuses on getting the next 9 deals every single week, rather than, oh my God, what are we going to do 3 months from now? I really like that. And we've started that on our team. So you work on getting your 9 or whatever your number is every single week. do that for 90 days, and then you're way ahead of the race. You're not always feeling like you're behind. And I already told you what Sarah Reynolds was, so.
I love the chunk it down thing. I was listening to something, because those were awesome ahas. Thank you. There was something I was listening to, and it was Curtis Martin, who is a Hall of Fame running back, played on the Jets, and he was talking to Simon Sinek, and he was talking about a time where he was talking about that concept of breaking things down, making things simple, right? And he ended up getting injured on a run, and he dislocated his shoulder, and he came out of the game for a minute, and the guy's like, "Look, you're done for the season. That's dislocated, needs surgery." And he said, "No, just tape me up." And the doc's like, "You don't tape up a dislocated shoulder. I don't know what you want to do." So they taped his arm against his chest, and he ended up going back out and getting a handoff, ran a couple of yards, and got hit real hard. And he said it was the worst pain he's ever had. However, in his head, he told himself when he was laying on the ground, just get up, get back to the huddle, and go do it again. And everything became just get back to the huddle, get back to the huddle, do it again. And he ended up finishing that game and played the rest of the season and had one of his best seasons ever with a dislocated shoulder and torn whatever's in there. So the concept that I just heard you talk about, Maggie, was just get back to the huddle. Just do the one thing. Go back, do it again. Who cares if you don't hit that 9? If you don't hit that 9 this week, get back to the huddle, pull up your bootstraps, go do it again, and work to go make some changes to get that 9 again. And, hey, maybe you exceed it. Go back to the huddle, do it again, right? And it's an awesome, awesome concept when you chunk it down and you just focus on one tiny thing and just get back to huddle and try again, right? So I love that. Anybody have any questions or any final thoughts before we wrap it up for the day? Appreciate everybody's time. Camille, go ahead.
Maggie, so with the buyers, having so many buyers and the inventory so off-tilt, do you think it's because a lot of it has to do with the interest rates being so low?
I think we're not lead generating for listings. So what we're starting to do on our team is if we have a buyer that can't find a house to buy, every day we call to try to find that house for the buyer, right? So that gives us 2 pieces of market share. This is a problem across the entire country. Yeah. And one of the things that I've been blessed with helping Donna is that I have access to all those people that I don't have access to because my team is not that level. And everyone's talking about the same thing. Stop getting distracted by the newest technology and the newest this and the newest. Get on the phone, call everybody and lead generate for listings, for market share. And because what will happen if we don't find the listings for the buyers, then the buyer's going to get frustrated and go rent. And then that's how we start the rebalancing of I don't like to say shift, the rebalancing of the market. The market is the market. Doesn't matter whether it's a buyer's market or seller's market. You still can get your unfair share if you get up and do what you're supposed to do every single day.
Good answer.
When I got my real estate license, interest rates were 14%, people. 14%. Back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
I agree, though, in the lead generation piece. I do think because of some of the variables, I think interest rates have an impact on it. Yet, and that's fine. Yet there's still no listings. Like it's about figuring out creative ways because around education, people don't understand how much equity they have in their home. So then you go and have that conversation that Maggie had in the beginning. She was talking about calling people and saying, talking to them about the equity and what they can get out of their home. Cash now is better than cash later, right? So I think it starts, yes, with understanding that what this environment is, and then finding creative ways based on what we have in our hands to go and get more listings. And one of them is to educate people around, hey, equity. You have equity in your home. Have you thought about moving, right? But yeah, you're right. It all plays together, Camille. Does that help?
Yeah, and Maggie's the third person who told me that this week. Adrian, Chip Walton, and Maggie just finished saying, go find a listing for your buyers. So so I need to go find the listings for my buyers.
Awesome. Anybody else?
The only difference between someone who has what you would consider a top business and where your business is right now is the tenacity in getting up every single day and doing whatever it takes to get the next deal. That's the only difference. The only difference. It's not talent. It's not, I mean, I like to say talent. It's not talent. It's, I'm going to get up and do whatever it takes today to meet or exceed my goals, because I started with good habits when I was 20 because I had to. And now I just do it because I've given my word to these people in my life that we're going to build a business big enough to hold their life of their dreams. And that's my responsibility.
What is it on page 24 of Shift? Success is not about the chosen few. It's about the few that choose.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. Have some grit and go out and get it.
Hey, and if you register for Mega Camp right now online, you can buy 3 t-shirts to wear every single day for, you know, extra dollars, and they send them to you. So everybody can have the same t-shirt on, just saying.
This is so exciting. I love it.
Well,
Well,
I don't
Maggie,
love the Zoom either because I'm someone who gets energy from people, but it is what it is. We have to make the best of it and do what we're going to do in order to move forward.
yeah. And we're going to look at some things that we can do to make Mega Camp a fun experience here locally, as well as, well, I'm sure we're going to have masterminds around kind of the things that we've heard in Mega Camp and what we're implementing, all that good stuff. So it'll be fun. Maggie, thank you so much for your time. Everybody else, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And go on, enjoy the weekend that you earned. And if you need anything, give us a call.
Thanks, Maggie.
Maggie, have a
you.
good
Thank you,
vacation.
Maggie.
Have an awesome
Thank you.
vacation, Maggie.
Yep. Bye-bye now.
Bye.